Mhm. Great. All right. Well, we're going to get started, and but I'm glad that you listened to Bill's Nidra. If anyone else, I'm I'm glad. All right. Grounding class this morning. So settle yourselves into your seat. Place your hands in any position that you'd like them to come into. For grounding, if we want to embody this sense of grounding, palms can face down. That tends to ground our energy. And a really, I've taught this mudra a good bit times. I think we're aware of it. Is called Adi Mudra. It's for really the gesture. It's the gesture of primordial stillness. So it really is a mudra, a hand gesture to just pull you in, to really get a sense of grounding and foundation. So you simply just bring the thumbs in towards the palms and take the other four fingers and wrap them over the thumbs. Not tightly, we're not squeezing here, just kind of gently and loosely, but a little bit of pressure. And then you place the hands palms down onto the lap. So if you'd like to come into that mudra, Adi Mudra, you're more than welcome to, or you can just have the palms face down or come into any placement of the hands. And just allow ourselves to settle in. Take some time and notice the connection that your feet are having with the earth beneath them. Notice all the points of contact. And then observe your connection in the chair. And if you'd like, you could imagine yourself having roots spreading deep and wide. Creating this solidity and stability within the body. And then slowly guide your attention to your breath. bring the palms of the hands together, heart center. Allowing ourselves a moment to set any personal intentions, dedications, or prayers that we may have for our practice. Bring a full deep breath in through the nose. And slowly exhale out. Allowing the hands to separate and release back down towards the feet. Your eyes are closed. Gently and softly blink them open. You let your gaze remain cast down for a few moments. Again, just being present to grounding, connection, foundational body. And slowly in your own time, you can bring your gaze up. And begin to shift forward in your seats. I'll move myself back as we're doing a grounding and centered class. We're gonna, again, have a little bit more focus attention to the lower half of our body. Not that we won't do anything with the upper half, but we'll just have a little bit more of attention to this area of the body for our class today. Also, we probably won't be bringing the arms up as much as we particularly do, because I want our attention to be a little bit more focused on the lower extremities and that connection and grounding. So we'll begin with the feet that are making contact with the floor. So for our purposes, while we're seated, what's grounding and what is being grounded is whatever's making contact with the floor and our chairs, because we're seated. If we were just on the floor, it would simply be our connection to the floor, to the earth. But because we're in chairs, we're feeling that connection and that rootedness in the chair as well as the floor beneath us. All right, so let's start with stepping the feet up and down. So just begin to create that solid contact and connection of picking one foot up at a time and kind of stepping or stomping it down on the earth. Good. And if you'd like to, which I'm going to, we'll gradually pick up the pace. So you could start to kind of step the feet a little bit faster, just picking up your pace. And then maybe a little bit faster. And then if you want, you could take it as fast as you can. Good. And then gradually slow that pace back down. And again, just taking slow steps or stomps. One more time on each side. And then anchoring down. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Again, being present to any sensations that you may be feeling. Begin to lift one heel at a time, going from side to side, foot to foot, lifting and lowering the heels. And then we'll lift both sets of heels at the same time. The next time we lift both heels, we'll hold and pause, take a full breath in. And as we exhale, we'll lower those heels. And then we'll switch to the toes. So just lifting one set at a time, going from right to left at first. And then we'll lift both sets at the same time. And the next time both sets are lifted, hold, take a full breath in. And as you exhale, release and lower. Let the toes spread. Good. Now we'll lift the right set of toes and the left heel. Lower that down and we'll lift the left set of toes and the right heel. And we'll switch from side to side. Good. One more set on each side. And then we're going to lift the heels, and then the toes, and the heels, and the toes. And we're just going to rock. One more set, and then anchor down through the feet. Full deep breath in and out. All right, send your right leg forward. Feel the extension of the leg. The heel is making that contact, so we're having that foundation. The toes are up to the sky. And let's just rotate the right foot in. And then come back up. And then turn out. So a little bit of external rotation. So we're doing internally rotating, and then now externally. And then bring that back up. And go ahead and go again to the inside. Rotation. And come back up. And then to outside. Coming back up, take a breath in. As you exhale, slowly bring your chest forward. We'll bring ourselves back up. Foot comes to the floor and slides back in. Send your left leg out, toes up. Internally rotate, so turn the foot leg in. And then come back up. And then out. Up to center. And then again in. Coming back up. And then out. And this time we'll come back up to center, take our breath in. And as we exhale, hinge from the hips and bring the chest forward. Slowly we'll take our time coming back up. Foot comes to the floor and we slide it back in. Good. Step the feet apart. Turn the toes out to the side. Anchor to the outer edges of your feet. We're opening our hips now. Hands can be resting on top of the thighs or the knees. up nice and tall here, but again, really kind of feeling that connection that your feet are having with the earth and feeling the connection that you're having in the seat of your chair. Let's bring our chest forward. Pause for a moment. And then begin to circle around. So choose a direction and just begin to sweep and circle around. Stirring the pot. Nice. And when your torso comes back forward, find a pause and begin to circle the other way. Coming back around, find another pause, and then either hold or on an exhaling breath, you can allow yourselves to round forward. You might like to release your elbows or your forearms down to your thighs, or the insides of your thighs or knees, or you could release your hands to your shins, your ankles, feet, or maybe even the floor. Take your time and make your way back up. Bringing the feet back together. Good. All right, turn to your right. So I'm mirroring you, so I'm actually going to my left, but it'll be the same direction that you're going. So our feet are going to be kind of close together at first, and we're going to come into a twist first. So your right hand could come to the back of your chair. Your left hand could either rest on one of your knees or one of your legs to invite a gentle twist to the right. Or if you'd like to invite a deeper twist, you could let your both hands come back to the back of your chair. Again, we don't want to force anything, so it really depends on what works for you. And you could start in one way and then move into the other, and that's fine. But first, before we start our twist, we take a breath in to lengthen up through the spine. Root down through the floor, through the feet, through our seat, lengthen up. And then as we exhale, we can move into our twist a little deeper. Again, no force, we're just moving to an edge. An edge is fine. And then slowly take your time coming out of your twist. Good. All right, slide yourselves a little bit forward to your seat so that your right inner thigh kind of comes towards the edge. Your left leg will now be hanging off of the seat. Your right hand can still rest to the back of the chair, and we're going to keep our outside hand to our hip. So you'll have that left foot forward, and then slowly begin to extend it back behind you. Some of you might find that there's not much, you're not going to go very far. You're just going to make like a kind of slight incline of the knee and the top of the thigh. Also, side note, if you have longer legs, it may help, particularly if your chair is lower, to have a blanket or something that will elevate you so that you're a little bit higher, so that way your legs have space and room to extend. I don't have this issue, so I don't need anything, but you may need something. Okay, so we begin sending this leg. And you're going to find that place where it works for you. So you might come so that the top of the thigh and the knee point down to the floor. Or maybe you can send the leg even further back behind you so that the bottom of your heel is pressing to the wall behind you. And again, we are anchoring down through that right foot into the chair. And at the same time, we're engaging through our core muscles to support ourselves, particularly our low backs. We're just going to take a few breaths. We're not even going to extend the arms overhead today. Again, focus on grounding the foundation. We'll create our place of anchoring, and we'll just be present, feeling the breath flow in and out. And then slowly release, bringing that left leg back in and forward. Just take your time. Turn yourselves forward. Knees directly ahead, no open hips. We're going to keep our hips closed. Place your hands on top of the legs. Take a breath in. As you exhale, shift from the hips. Bring your chest forward. Find your pause in your lengthened spine. And then if you'd like on an exhaling breath, allow yourselves to round and fold forward. Pull deep breaths in and out. And then taking your time, rising up. Good. Turn yourself in the other direction. Remember, we're going to start with our twist. So the feet are close together. You can bring your left hand to the back of the chair. Right hand could be to one of the legs, or again, a little bit of a deeper, you might want to bring both hands back to the chair. But first, take your breath in to lengthen up. And then as you exhale, go ahead and move deeper into your twist with no force though. And then slowly make your way out of the twist. Shift yourselves on the side, slightly forward in your chair, so the inside now of your left leg will be towards the edge of your chair. The right leg is going to hang off. We'll have the legs both, you're kind of like teetering here because obviously this right outer hip is hanging off of the chair. So you're really supporting yourself using your core muscles. You don't want to be sinking or sagging. You want the hips to try to be level and even. The left hand is on the chair. We could have the right outer hand to the hip and slowly begin to shift that right leg back. Again, you might find just an incline. You might find that the knee and thigh point down. You might begin to extend the leg a little bit further back behind you, so the back of the heel, or bottom of the heel, I should say, bottom of the heel presses to the wall. Few deep breaths in and out here, anchoring down through the feet, and your connection, foundation. This left ankle should be underneath the knee as well, kind of, or slightly forward of it. One more breath. And then slowly let yourself release, bringing the right leg back in. Turning yourselves in your chairs to face forward. Hands on top of the knees or the thighs, take your breath in. And then as you exhale, bring your chest forward. Find a moment here with your lengthened spine. And then if you'd like to, on your exhaling breath, round and release. Your time, begin to rise back up. So now what we'll do is we're going to begin to transition so that way our grounding and foundation is the feet to the floor or directly over top of our legs. So we're going to be moving through space, moving and transitioning through this movement. So find the position of your feet that you'd like to, the comfortable distance apart. Again, just drawing some attention to your foundational points, what's creating that grounding right now, and how eventually it'll be moving through space to transition right over top of your feet. Let's take a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll shift our chests forward. I'm going to bring my arms. If you'd like to do that as well, go ahead. Or you could keep your hands to your chair or to your legs to really just even feel more of that lower half. Firm down through the feet, activate your legs, and if you want to lift your hips out of your seat, pause for a moment, and then lower them back down. The torso comes back upright for a moment. And then again, we shift the torso. You don't have to lift your hips if you don't want to. You can simply just firm down through the feet and activate the legs to feel that grounding. Move through whatever movement is serving you this morning. And then the next time we find ourselves in this chair pose, we can hold here, or you could always rise all the way up to your stand if you need to. Take a full deep breath if you're here in chair pose. And then rooting down, slowly begin to rise up. Let the hands come together and come down to the heart. Take your moment here. And feeling that sense of grounding and anchoring, rooting down, spreading your roots wide and deep. And then slowly release the arms down by your sides. Good. Stay here in front of your chairs. I'm going to move myself slightly back. I want to work through this chair pose a little bit. So I'll turn myself to the side where you can be facing forward. We're going to let ourselves put our hips back towards our heels, chest comes forward, and we'll bring our arms. Let your arms come forward, kind of in line with your ears here. Good. So your hips are seated back. Chest is still lifted though. Shoulders release down. Take a few breaths in and out. Knees pointing straight forward. One more breath. And then as you feel that rooting down, slowly lengthen through your legs, rising up. Let the arms just come down by your side. Feel that nice, strong, connected mountain pose. Good. And then we'll come back to our chair pose. Sitting ourselves back. Move down through the feet, slow rise up, arms come down by your sides. And then one more time, sitting back towards our chair pose. Moving down, slowly lengthen through the legs, rising up, arms by your sides. Nice. All right, take your time and go ahead and walk behind your chairs. Let your hands come to your hips, move through the feet. Let the heels, lift one at a time. Good, and then shake the legs out. Find your mountain pose. Anchor down through all four corners of the feet, the base of the big toe, the toe mound, and the outer heel, and the base of the pinky toe, the toe mound, and the inner heel. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, we're going to just place our hands on top of the chair and slowly walk the feet back. Take your time. Feel the extension of the spine here, the length of the legs, back of the legs. Remember that your knees can be bent here if you need them to be. And we'll find some movement. So maybe begin to bend one knee at a time. And shift in the hips. Maybe pedal through the feet, lifting one heel at a time. And then, after some movement, settle into some stillness. Feeling the flow of the breath. Again, that anchoring, grounding. Feet. Connection. And then slowly begin to step the feet back in towards your chairs as you rise back to stand. Keep the right foot forward. Step the left back behind you. We're going to turn the left toes out. We'll find warrior one. So our legs, how I set this up is my legs are like on train tracks. My right is to the right, my left is to the left. Some, times you'll see it where it's a little bit closer, and but I like a wide stance. Again, it accounts for, or it helps with stability and foundation so that we can feel a sense of stability in the body. So the left toes are going to turn out slightly. If you have a mat, those left toes kind of go towards the long edge of your mat. Otherwise, it's kind of like a 35-degree angle, I would say. Good. Our hands can be on top of our chair or to our hips. I'm going to have my hands on my hips, but feel free to place your hands on your chair if you'd like to. And this morning, what I would like to is just move through this movement of bending our right knee so it lines over top our ankle or slightly behind, and then lengthen it. Without ever jamming in the knee, we just slowly lengthen to what works for us. Our hips are nice and square and even. And then we'll bend this right knee. And then lengthen. And a few more times, bending the knee. And lengthening. And then one more time, bend the knee. Feel your foundation, your rootedness. Taking a few breaths in and out. Your strength building poses, feel the strength. Good. Energetically press with that right foot. We're going to lengthen the knee one more time. Keep drawing your right hip back so that the hips can stay neutral and even. And slowly hinge from your hips to bring your chest forward. As you do, your hands could release off the hips if they're there to place them on top of the chair. Or you might find that your torso comes forward enough that your hands slide down the chair or maybe even rest on the seat. Or some of you might find that your hands can extend further. Take a few breaths in and out here. And then slowly bring your torsos back up. Our hands can come back to our hips if you'd like, or keep them to the top of the chair. Let this front right knee bend again. As you do, peel your back left heel up. And then swivel the foot so that the bottom of the heel presses back to the wall behind you. This is your high lunge. Take a breath here. And then soften this back left knee. I like to do a little bit of a bounce here. And then I push off my left foot, my left toes to step into the right. Move through the legs, shake them out. Find your mountain pose, take a breath in. As you exhale, on the chair, step the feet back. Maybe this time your feet are wider apart. Take a nice wide stance with the legs. Invite some movement again, bending one knee at a time, shifting in the hips, or maybe lifting one heel at a time. Or doing a combination of all of those things. And then settling into some stillness. The legs are wide apart, step the feet in closer. And then begin to walk the feet back in towards your chairs. Keep the left foot forward, step the right back behind you. Turn the toes out a bit, again, create that wider, little bit of a wider stance so that way you feel your stability. Hands to the top of the chair to your hips. And we're just gonna move through that movement of bending the left knee and lengthen. Remember as you bend that the knee aligns over top the ankle or slightly behind. You don't want to bend this knee going way past those left toes. So just be conscious and paying to that. And the next time that you begin, you let yourself settle into that. Our hips, our hands down on the and then slowly pressing through the left foot, lengthen the knee. We'll begin to hinge from the hips as we keep our hips nice and neutral and even. The torso comes forward, so that's where they were, to rest on the top of the chair or slide down to the seat or any place where your hands might naturally rest and come to. A few deep breaths in and out here. And then slowly begin to rise up in this left knee. Hands to the chair or to your as we peel the right heel up. Spin so the bottom of the heel presses to the wall back behind you. And then soften, bob like I am if you'd like to, pushing off the foot, the toes to beautiful, and then go ahead and move through the feet and the legs however you'd like to. Okay, spin the chair, so the seat faces you. On the seat. Let the fingers spread, thumbs in towards each other, forefingers face forward, distance apart with our knees. Bend to the hips a little bit, side to side. Release those shoulders back and down, away from the ears. Take a as you exhale, let soften the belly down, heart lifts. Exhale through, tailbone will shift slightly under. Draws back towards the thighs with hips. Inhale, place and softening down towards cow. Exhale comes through and then rounds to our stretching. Just exhale, take your time and just slowly make your coming towards a stand, our hands together. So like I said, we weren't bringing our arms up that much, and I don't believe we've done it really at all this morning. So we are going to do it now. We're going to come into our salutations, but before we do that, since we have anything with the much of anything with the arms in regards to bring them overhead. So on an inhale, and then sweep the arms out and up. Let the arms, I'll just turn to face you for a minute. Just reach through, let kind of lean to one side, kind of extend through that, and then go. Just let yourself go from side to side at your own touching and reaching. Again, we haven't really been doing that this morning because the focus is down, but you can let yourself press and anchor down through the sides. Let yourself a couple of more times. And then come back to center, reaching up through both body equally as you press down through the feet. And then on an exhale, allow your palms to join together and come down. And now we'll come into our sun salutations 3 times through the first, and then you can go the 6. And sweep the arms out and overhead. As you exhale, soft knees hinge from the hips, bring the chest. Hands lower down, the sides are seated, time, and walk your feet back. Right, downward facing dog. We'll give ourselves some movement. We bending one knee at a time. Shifting the hips, ankles. And then settling in forward. Inhale, shift your gaze forward. As you exhale, step forward. Inhale, sweeping the arms out and up. Exhale, palms touch, and the hands to the chest. 2 more times, following your own pace here. You can slowly release the hands, back down the spines, and take a round your way back into your seats. In your chairs, one leg out and then the other so that both legs are making contact with the floor or the sky. We'll take our breath in. Keep the knees nice and soft here. Placement that you feel fully supported. Full breath in, lengthens up. And as we slowly allow our chest to begin to slide down our legs. Time and begin to relax back. And when we have time, also the feet back towards the floor, shifting yourself to your chairs. To the sides of our chair, through the feet. Draw the shoulders back and then down. Lift the heart and the chest. Again, with the chest and heart this morning, so just be gentle. When you're grounding and while you're grounding, slowly come back. Allowing your back to rest. Hands come to the top of the lap. Actually, and then slowly again here, but you're all the way back as opposed to being forward in the chair. We're all the way back. We're going to bring our chest forward. Find our, I'm going to shift my hips back even a little bit further. Stay here or on an exhale. Allow around. And your hands can be or could come to the legs of the feet or could extend kind of back towards the chair child's pose, I would call it. Opposed to being on the ground, kind of over top of our legs folded forward. Allowing our backs to rest against the back of our floor. So we're coming into our final relaxation. I don't say this at all because this is a chair class. Sometimes people who are in chair class are utilizing the class down on the floor. But a grounding class, if you would like to lie on a space, you could do that if that's your preference. But I'm going to stay in a chair. more than likely you'll probably stay in one too. There's an option that you could lie down somewhere if you'd like to. Your hands in any place. Adi Mudra with the thumbs drawn in towards the palms and the forefingers over. Rest. Notice that sense of connection, grounding. You're feeling more solidly connected. Exposed to the start of the practice. Movement to begin to return. For a moment of breath. Practice. May I be well. May I be free from danger. May I be filled. May you be well. May you be happy and content. May you from danger and suffering. May you be filled with kindness. May all beings be God. May all from danger and suffering. May all be filled with loving. Now we can join together in the unified. Allow the breath. Draw a full deep breath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. A light and loving season.